On my behalf and on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Madam, it's a pleasure to welcome our dignity to this event for the school event as we call it. I welcome all the directors, registrars, the heads of division, all the regional directors at the regional centers, all the staff at the regional center, all the senior faculty who are present in this room and who are joining us online, all the teachers, academics, support staff, all of those who have joined us for this event today. At the outset, I just want to say that Madam Vice Chancellor can join us anytime. At 11 o'clock, she had a meeting online with the Secretary of Education Department. That's why she is not present with us right away. But Madam has said that as soon as the meeting is over, she will join us for this very call. This event is the chain of the events organized by the School of Education Department. We have, guided by Madam Vice Chancellor, conducted some very innovative programs. Induced by Madam and to our own idea, we conducted the street vendor sensitization program as part of the Swachchta. 3 to 4, please come. We conducted 3 to 4 activities therein, wherein we sensitized the vendors on the Maidan Gadi Road. And it culminated this just last week with a teleconferencing, where we connected with vendors, explaining to them through the Food Security Association how to look for adulteration and how to improve their practices. And when this whole idea about Swachchta campaign was going on and we were discussing in our school, Professor Hina Bijli's idea actually to sensitize all of us for green events. So the credit for this particular session today entirely goes to Hina's thinking. It was her idea. It was not something which I had thought about, but the minute she said it, I realized its huge potential. And I felt that this particular idea is very meaningful for us as IGNOU, because we, celebrate our foundation day, we celebrate our convocation, which are big events. These are big events involving the whole of the university. Other than that, the departments keep organizing smaller events, such as this. This is not fully at large scale. And then in our own personal lives, we are organizing birthday parties, marriage anniversaries, and of course, the big event, wedding, all of that is happening. So, whatever little informal feedback I have received from some of the people who have come, that they are excited to be a part of this, thing because of both professional and personal reasons. So what is a green event? Is an event which leaves the least impact on the environment in terms of, emission of gases or any of your physical residue. I won't take too much time into that because that's what the experts are here for. So they better apprise us what actually is a green event. Very briefly, I will just mention who the experts are, and their detailed introduction will be provided by Professor Hina Bijli. So this event organized and orchestrated by the discipline of home science with the faculties, Richa Prakash, who's not present here but will be coming, Anuradha, Meenu, and Suman, who's presently on leave but is a member of the, as well as the PhD scholars. Oh, Richa has come. Okay, so sorry. I thought you might be delayed from your, visit to the doctor. And our PhD scholars who are, part of the event, the home science department. I'm very happy to welcome Mr. Ankur, who is the CEO of the Vibgyor Brand Services. And more importantly, he's the General Secretary of the Events and Entertainment Management Association of India. We have a program, a diploma and a certificate in event management. And he has been providing consistent support to IGNOU on that and advises us on expert committee meetings and planning programs and all of that. He has his associate, Ms. Rimi, we have his associate with us also. Then we have our second expert is Madam Prerna, who is the CEO of Theme Weavers Design. Her specialization, if I have correct, is organization of weddings, right? And she's also supported by her staff. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Diksha. So with this, we move on, Anuradha, to the next step of our function and move forward.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now the time is for the lighting of the lamp. Astoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. To do the honor, I request our director ma'am, our esteemed experts, and our discipline coordinator ma'am to come forth and light the lamp. Ma'am, please.
I get energy, we just like them.
मेल पे नहीं रहेगी अभी व्हाट्सएप पे चाहिए
शुभं करोति कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योति नमोऽस्तु ते दिव्यादिपत्कात् काली कुण्डलमोतीहार दिव्यालापाहुन्नमस्कार
Now, I request our director ma'am to honor the dignitaries with the memento and shawl. Ma'am, please present the memento and shawl to Mrs. Prerna Agrawal ma'am. Now, I request our discipline coordinator ma'am to honor ma'am with the apotted pot. Now, I again request our director ma'am to honor our extreme expert, Mr. Ankur Kalra sir, with the memento and shawl. Now, I request our discipline coordinator ma'am to honor sir with a potted plant. Now, it's a time to give a detailed introduction of the our extreme experts. Now, I request our discipline coordinator ma'am, Professor Hina K. Bijli, to introduce our extreme speaker. Please, ma'am.
Hina, you introduce, then take it. Introduce this.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce two stalwarts of the event industry, Mr. Ankur Kalra and Ms. Prerna Agarwal Saxena, whom I've known for many years now. So it's not just the event industry, but me as well, who has seen them lead their businesses with growing success in this country. Mr. Ankur Kalra, a known figure in the industry, is the managing director and founder of WebGure, an agency that is highly acclaimed in the experiential world. With over 2 decades of experience, he has taken WebGure from its humble beginnings in 2002 to over 100 employee agency with offices in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. WebGure is perhaps one of the few process-driven agencies that completely operates on a project management software developed in-house. It is a leading experiential agency specializing in brand activation, events, and exhibitions, and has executed more than 10,000 successful campaigns till date. The Bureau works with some of the best-known brands across the country, such as Amazon, L'Oreal, Canon, Kohler, Samsung, Apple, Adidas, Sony, Nestle, Microsoft, Ferrero Rocher, and the list is endless. WebGyor is proud of its culture, work ethics, and learning environment, which allows its employees to explore, experiment, and grow to achieve their true potential while contributing positively to the organization. Mr. Kalra is also one of the founding members of the national industry body IMA, which is the Event and Entertainment Management Association of India, and has been closely involved in its functionings right from its inception in 2008. It's an honor to have you here, sir. He currently serves as the General Secretary in the IMA National Executive Council and works with various government agencies, clients, and partner organizations towards creating a better future of the experiential industry in India. Other than the core businesses of creating compelling on-ground experiences, WebGyor has also diversified into various successful related verticals such as Happy Flap, Hook Experiential, and Hopover. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Kalra. Your establishment of WebGyor and seeing its success to the present day only goes to show that your leadership, achievements, and accolades in the event industry are noteworthy. We are glad that you could make it here for today's event. It is difficult to tell the audience only in a few words about Ms. Prerna and her contribution to the industry. A dreamer with a heart full of passion, Mrs. Prerna Agarwal Saxena is a visionary wedding planner. As the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Theme Weavers Design, she transformed her passion into a thriving business in 2008, creating personalized wedding experiences, each of which weaves its own story. Theme Weavers International today is an award-winning company that combines creativity, service, design, and production excellence, and always works closely with every client to create a concept that truly represents their unique goals and objectives. Prerna is known for her unique wedding events. At Theme Weavers, they never repeat their designs for any of their events. With her talent for design and meticulous planning, she's orchestrated over 250 memorable events, making Theme Weavers Designs a top wedding company in India. A pioneer in wedding tourism and a champion for inclusivity, she is also committed to giving back, ensuring event leftovers reach those in need, all under her guiding philosophy of weaving hope. Wedging upon it, Prerna launched Wedease.in, a tech-savvy platform that revolutionizes wedding planning, ensuring every celebration is seamless and extraordinary. A warm welcome to you, Ms. Prerna Agarwal. I'm sure with your specific expertise and benchmarking style of innovative green events in the wedding event sector of India, the contribution to green events in the industry will grow. Our esteemed experts lead the event industry today by example. I'm sure there's lots to learn from today's sessions, and it's a matter of sheer pleasure and privilege to have them here amongst us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving a detailed introduction of our speakers. Now we are very eager to hear from our speakers. So to begin the session, it is a pleasure to invite our first speaker, Mr. Ankur Kalra, sir, to present his talk. Sir, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the generous introduction, Hina, and thank you all for inviting us here. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been working with Hina on several initiatives since the last few years, and it's always so good to interact with her and to be able to contribute slightly to this area of event management. So let me start with a little bit about my introduction. I've been in this space since 1996. I started my company WebGyor in 2002, and I've been part of this body called Event and Entertainment Management Association since 2008. I serve as General Secretary on that, and one of our main focus areas is to inspire all our members to do green events, to do sustainable events. So this is very much in line with our philosophy. So that is my introduction. Let me start by telling you what are the different kinds of events that take place. What is the landscape? What is the marketplace like? So there are several, event management seems like a small term, but it's actually a very large landscape. So event management includes things like brand activation. I'm sure all of you have gone to malls and seen stalls of different products promoting their brands, etc. That is called brand activation. Now that could be done in a mall, in an airport, in a pub, in a club, any kind of a venue where a brand reaches out to its consumers in a touch and feel way. So that is called brand activation. The second is social events, right from birthdays to weddings to anniversaries to any kind of a social event where there is a celebration, that is called a social event. Prerna here has an expertise in organizing those kind of events. Then there are corporate events. When a company completes 10 years, 100 years, any kind of an event for their employees, for their staff, for their dealers. So those are called corporate events. Then there are sports events, all your marathons, all your IPLs, all your leagues, badminton leagues, different kinds of events which are in the sports field. Then there are, of course, exhibitions, right from Auto Expo down to trade fair to local exhibitions which are held. Then there are government sector events. There are huge events that the government does, right from election campaigns to all kinds of PSU events and government events. So these are the broad categories, the 6 or 7 categories of the event management space. This is a huge, it's a growing field in India. It's estimated that the total turnover that this field has is more than 5 lakh crore. That is the kind of size that this field has. It employs millions of people directly and indirectly. So when we do an event, we also take the services of hospitality. We take so many services, right from people who provide the light, sound, to the technicals, to the stage, to hotels, to hospitality. So many, there are venues. So there are several components of the event management space. So while the discipline seems very small, it actually employs millions of people and contributes to lakhs of crores of our GDP when we talk about the space of event management. Now, before we go further, before I get into what are the different kinds of impacts that events have on the environment and how we can reduce the impact, I'd like to show you a small AV about the event management space so that you can understand. So this is our EMA AV about what is the event management landscape like. It's a small 2-minute AV. Please have a look and then I'll talk about the sustainability part. Can we please play the AV that I had given?
आशुतोष जी वीडियो चला दीजिए.
EMA AV, please. This is the landscape of events. I mean, this showed a lot of large events, a lot of Bollywood events, but events could be at a small hut in a rural area. It could be a birthday party that we organize at our home. It could be a huge, big, fat wedding, or it could be a large IPL which is organized. So, India is all about culture, all about celebrations, and events are what truly signify those celebrations and culture. So our life is an event every day, and with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision, we are all about showcasing our culture. They have launched a new program called Wed in India, where they're inviting weddings into India. So events is going to play a huge role in our economy and in our lives going forward. So with that, I will just come to the next part of my discussion, which is about the impact that events have on the environment. So in my opinion, this impact can be divided into broadly 4 areas. There is energy impact, there is venue impact, there is materials used impact, and there is waste generated impact. These are the 4 broad areas in my understanding that events have on the environment. So we will talk about each one of these areas very briefly, and I will try and tell you what each of these areas actually represent. So we talk about the first impact, which is the energy impact. This is where the first impact happens on the environment. Most events in this country are run on gensets because we need reliable supply of power. And if an event has a requirement, let's say of 100 kVA or 60 kVA, we use generators come in only certain power standard. They have So you can hire a 62.5 kVA generator or a 125 kVA generator or a 250 kVA generator. So they come in certain packages. If my event, if my technical team estimates that my event requires, let's say 20 kilowatts of power, we will have to hire a 60 kilowatt genset. So the first impact on the environment comes on the kind of energy that is used to power an event. Of course, first part is that most gensets, I would say 99.9% are diesel gensets, and most gensets are of specific wattage. You cannot tamper with that. So even if you require 20 kilowatts, you will have to take a 60 kilowatt generator. If you require 80 kilowatts, you will have to take a 125 kilowatt generator. So then most events have generators which are used for days before the event, for the dry runs, for all the installation, etc. So, clean power, availability of clean power. So now there is a new trend where if one plans an event well in advance, one can actually request the power supply company, the whatever, BSES, Rajdhani, etc. That is only possible if you organize it more than 15 days in advance, and they can put a special uninterrupted power line and a meter where you pay as per use, but not more than, I would say, 5% of events or possibly 2% of events are actually doing this, because it's a big hassle. There is an installation of a line, it's far more expensive, and there are lots of bureaucratic processes that need to be done. But that is the first source of huge impact on the environment, when we use generators round the clock, and those generators actually produce far more power than what the event requires, because everybody wants to play safe. One can't have a situation where during an event a product launch is going on and suddenly the light goes. So that is not possible. In an event, unlike theater and films, there's only one take. If I'm doing a product launch for, say, a Dabur or a Hindustan Lever or a Samsung or a L'Oreal, and their car or their product is coming on stage, can we afford it? It is unthinkable that the power should go at that time. So therefore, unfortunately, most of us don't have an option but to use gensets. So there are two possible options of that. One is that one plans the event well in advance, one applies for a temporary power connection, and one gets that. The second is there are these high capacity UPS systems which are also available now, where you take the power supply, instead of renting a generator, you rent a UPS, which ensures that the power supply is constant. If the power goes, they give a 30 to 40 minute backup. And usually, the power supply goes for a very short time. So that is the other option that is happening, but that is also very expensive. Those are very large systems. They're not portable. Unlike generators, where the business is very set, they are all on vans. They come, they do their work, and they go. It's a completely reliable. But inconvenience and cost are two separate things, and impact on the environment is another thing. So that is the first area which I believe that we all really need to work on. At least in IMA, we try and educate all the agencies that try and organize your event 15 days in advance, try and get a temporary line, or try and use UPS systems instead of gensets. So this is the huge impact that the energy used at an event has on the environment. Along with that, I'd like to talk about every event has lots of crew members, lots of people traveling for that event. We were at this wedding summit on Friday and Saturday, me and Prerna. And, there were certain things that struck me at certain big weddings where the audience size is 500. Can you guess what is the number of crew that, let's say there is a big wedding in Udaipur and the number of guests is 500. What is the number of crew members who've been flown in or brought in to work on that wedding? Anybody, can you please make any guesses, please?
1,000.
Average 2,000. 1:4. So for every guest, 4 people are actually working on that wedding, and they are not local, they are brought in from outside. Now, can you imagine the kind of impact? If that 2,000 is brought down to 1,000 or 500, the impact will become half or 1/3. So that is the other thing. In our country, fortunately or unfortunately, there is no shortage of labor. There are enough people. Our events usually work with the gig economy. These are not people who are employed with. So if my company employs 100 people, at every event I employ 500 people, right? So because there is no shortage of labor, we carry huge amounts of people along with us to actually organize events. And that usually, depending on the size and scale, varies between 2 per guest to 4 per guest. And that is another huge impact. Their air tickets, their food, their everything. that creates a huge impact. So which contributes to the energy impact of an event. People take flights, there are left, right, and center, flights are cancelled, multiple flights are done, and all that contributes to your energy footprint that is generated for an event. So this was the first part, which was the energy impact. Then I'm talking about the venue impact. There are lots of events which are done in eco-sensitive zones. Today there are lots of corporate events which are happening in Corbett Park, for example. There is a venue next to the Yamuna where there was a huge event which happened a few years ago. I don't want to take names here, but it was done by a very prominent social and religious figure. So there are events which are done in venues which have a crazy impact, sorry to use the word, but which have a very negative impact on the environment. And we don't think about those impacts. We don't think about the flora and fauna, the other life forms that exist. Our events are happening. The High Court sets a timeline for the sound pollution. What about the other life forms that are there, which are impacted with that event? So the venue impact is usually with the choice of venue. We as human beings, each time our client briefs us, koi nayi jagah batao, koi tell us some innovative thing. Do this event in a mountain, do this event in a valley, do this event on a beach. But every venue has its own impact on the environment. And, in order for us to give newer solutions to our clients, we usually go and, think out of the box and do events in out of the box venues, ignoring the ecological impact that is there. Certain venues have to be created. If there is a stadium, it's been planned with certain guidelines, it does not have a negative impact on the environment, that is fine. But you cannot pick a riverbed and suddenly make a event of 10,000 people there, a concert, which disturbs the entire ecosystem around. So this is the second, which is the choice of venue where you do your event, that has a huge impact on the environment. When we do events out in the open, we never think about soundproofing it. We don't think about what is the impact. It is not about the disturbance that it causes after 10 p.m. It is about sound causing a whole impact to the environment. And, so that is the second area. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning. This is another huge area. Now, when we do our events, we want it to be cooled for 2 days before the actual event, because we want it to be absolutely comfortable. How many ACs are going on in this room? So it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, what time of the year it is. We want our events to have absolutely brilliant cooling, and all that. All that goes towards the energy impact of the event. I forgot to miss that. Another part of the energy impact is usage of the proper lighting systems. LED lights are available, but they are slightly more expensive. People still use traditional lights. LED lights consume more than 1/10 of the power that traditional lights use. So all those technologies are available. We need awareness, and we need a little more effort, maybe spend a little bit more cost, but solutions are available in today's day and age. The third is the materials used. Now, I wanted to congratulate IGNOU for not using any flex or any materials which are not eco-friendly at this event. But that is not the reality in 99% of the events. We use kilometers and kilometers of flex. You go to any exhibition, and at the end of my talk, I will again show you the same AV, and all of you can then think about what are the wrong things that we've done in all those events showcase. But coming back, we use kilometers of flex and vinyl, which are all non-eco-friendly materials. A flex, once it is printed, will remain on this earth for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, will not integrate into the sea or will not integrate into the soil in any way possible. There are other, for example, one can print on fabric instead of flex, which is a far better option, but which is 3 times the cost. So flex costs about 10 rupees a square foot, and fabric costs about 35 rupees a square foot. But that is the cost that one has to bear to be kind to the environment. Vinyl and sunboard are extensively used, which are all not eco-friendly materials. A lot of the synthetic wood is used. MDF is used, which has mostly synthetic wood, instead of using actual wood, which can be recycled. MDF, after 1 or 2 uses, finishes. Wood has about 20 to 30 usages, kind of a lifespan. Firecrackers are used at our events, which are terrible for the environment. You can see the AV again. In so many events, you'll see so much of firecrackers which are happening. Paperless events. We use so much of paper now with technology. Paperless events are being promoted. For example, a lot of the invitations, etc., are done using QR codes. The entire guest management can be done on an app. People, just like when you fly, you don't need a boarding pass anymore. When you come to an event, you actually don't need paper. But that's not the reality. Whether it's today's event where we've tried to use eco-friendly paper, but nevertheless it is paper, or it's most of our conferences, most of our events, we use rims and rims of paper, right from the invitees to the speakers to every aspect of the event. Then the next is the waste generated. She spoke about the food, and I'm sure Prerna will speak about in great detail. At our weddings, when there is a wedding for 500 people, the food created there is for mostly 1,500 people. They have to be very careful. They can't, none of the dishes can run out. The guests can't go hungry. But can you imagine when those 500 people go, what happens to that food? 90% of it is thrown because it's very difficult and expensive to actually transport it, to store it, to make sure it's hygienic for people who can use it later, right? So the waste generated at an event, I would urge you all to go to any event site after the event is over. Most event organizers, clients don't really care about the waste that they've generated, whether it's empty bottles of water or it's plastic or it's paper. They are huge dumps. So the waste generated is another huge, the waste generated at toilets, people don't connect them to sewers. They will just put it on the ground. They'll pollute the ground there. There are water bottles which are thrown. Any large event, the scene at the next day is terrible, is something to be scared of. You go to Pragati Maidan after trade fair, you go to any event, the next morning, it is a garbage dump. And most of those things which are generated in the garbage dump are not sustainable. They cannot be recycled in any way. So, these are the kind of things that I wanted to talk about as far as the sustainable impact of events. 4 things which I'd summarize. The first is the energy impact. The second is the venue impact. The third is the materials used impact. And the fourth is the waste generated impact. We do seminars in our body called IMA for all our members to help them understand these and to minimize these. And I would urge you all to please also keep these in mind and if possible, practice them in the events that you organize. Thank you so much. And I'd like to play the AV after this once again so that you can see all the things that we are doing wrong at our events. So once again, we'll play the AV and then that's it for me.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very thoughtful, provoking session. The insight he has presented will surely help us in reducing the environment footprint in our events in conscious manner. So now the time is for second speaker.
No. Play the video.
Okay. Play.
So I'd urge you all to please see it and try and visualize all the areas that we've gone wrong and all the areas that we've actually not been sustainable. Happy to. Sure. I'd like to have a small interaction with any of you or all of you on any of the points that you want to discuss or anything in this AV or any point that I've spoken about, any views, anything you'd like to, anybody would like to speak. So the biggest solution, ma'am, is awareness. If we are conscious about it, only then we'll be able to take care. There are solutions for everything. There's solution for energy, there's solution for waste generated, there's solution for heating and ventilation. Solutions are all there. They require a little bit of planning, a little bit of cost. It's just about being aware. Unless we are aware that our event is having this kind of a impact on the environment, how will we come with the solution? Each of these points have solutions. It is all about planning, maybe spending 10%, 20% more on the event, but most importantly, thinking about it. Very often those solutions don't require cost. If I think that I am traveling, 2,000 people are traveling for a wedding. If I'm aware of that and I think that I can reduce it to 1,500 people, it may actually reduce my cost, right? It may have a positive impact on the environment as well as a positive impact on my P&L. But nobody thinks like that. It is about being conscious that we are doing a negative impact on our environment and we need to do whatever it takes to reduce that. So there can't be any one solution, ma'am, that works. The solution is only and only awareness and somebody actively thinking about reducing the impact on the environment. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right. I'm sure Prerna can shed more light on that.
So thank you for asking that question. So we've been doing that in our events where our real flowers, we've tied up with a company called Fool. Now they're not taking it anymore and we'll have to find more because they're already over flooded with flowers from the Mandaran. But we've done that in the past where we give it to these agarbatti making, incense making companies, and they make incense sticks out of it.
PHOOL, Fool.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're doing a lot of this repurposing. They're taking from mandir weddings and they kind of take this all the flowers from there and they repurpose it to making incense sticks and all that. Also, one more solution is that we use more artificial flowers, and these days more and more artificial flowers are coming. A very interesting phenomenon which is started and which I was going to speak, but we can actually speak about it now as we talking about this topic, is that people have started preserving real flowers. So what you can do, there is a phenomena, and I'm working with this lady that like an hydrangea, which has to be flown from Malaysia or one of these countries outside India, can be preserved, okay, and can be reused and they look like real flowers. So they can be used for about 6-7 months. The only problem they have is it can't be exposed to sun. So at least for indoor events, we are promoting in our events that we work with her and we use these flowers, you know, because people don't like artificial flowers, but these flowers are actually real flowers, but just been preserved and can be reused over and over again. So these are the newer phenomena which are happening for flowers, and we are very, very conscious, and we're also trying to educate our clients because our clients are very, very used to having a lot of flowers. Like he said, it's very normal for anyone in India to have 4 people on one, like, you know, 4:1 ratio. For one guest, have 4 people working on the weddings. And I'll just like to mention that as Ankur said this, but it's not that we like to do it. Having right now, we do not have as much skilled manpower. So sometimes what happens is that we always keep buffers in terms of manpower so that if suppose someone's not able to deliver, we have a backup of a backup. So Hina and I have been working together on creating a program for even wedding management and seeing how can we have better skilled manpower in our industry. So that also somewhere Hina will reduce you know, energy waste, like how Ankur said, because right now we are just very paranoid. We are very like, you know, okay, let's have more people because if anything goes wrong, there are people to handle it. That's how we've been operating, to be frank. But yeah.
I mean, we
Sorry.
have a proper starting by.
Now
Yeah,
I
but
request,
Yeah, no, no, just
another
have it.
wait a minute.
Just
Yeah.
a minute. I was just wondering, Ankurji and Prerna, does some of the answer lie in our being less consumer oriented and less wanting to, you know, show off the event? And I don't know if the consumers take that sort of a decision. What will be the impact on the event management industry? Would the event management industry be happy if we don't want to, you know, sort of
So if you don't want to
glorify?
do too much show off, then the event management industry won't be there.
Yeah,
Event management is a way of showing off.
yeah.
So we are saying show off, but be a little sustainable about it, be a little conscious about it.
So if we actually ask you that I want to have a green event, the event manager will help us to have one.
Absolutely.
That is what you're
Absolutely.
trying
The
to say.
event manager will tell you it will cost you 20% more.
Yeah, I think Nandini ji has a point.
Yes, ma'am.
Can't be sending to the needy people because of the heart of the five-star hotels they do.
No, a lot of 5 stars actually don't do it. So there are certain organizations. The problem is the logistics and the problem is the health and safety. If they send out food to, let's say, 5,000 people, and even if one falls sick due to any reason, there are such huge provisions in law that their license will be cancelled. The FSSAI license will be. So they are all very scared. So most of them, the reality is, most hotels actually waste their food rather than give it to needy because they are scared of that one person falling sick. Even if it is not because of their food, their FSSAI license gets cancelled if even one person falls sick after consuming the food. Let's say the food is 8 hours, it takes 8 hours or 10 hours for consumption. And in those 8 hours or 10 hours, there is a part which is not in an air-conditioned vehicle, not in a freeze environment, and some part of the food gets spoiled. Their reputation and their license both goes. So they are all very scared. You will not believe, they throw gallons and liters of edible, excellent quality food because of this reason.
Very sad.
I have seen it. Better to reduce the amount, yes.
Better not to have an exotic menu.
So
With that
yesterday
PhD time.
at that PhD chamber where we were speaking, there were several caterers who told us that the minimum number of dishes for a wedding is 200 today. 200 dishes, 200 unique dishes, 200 unique dishes, 80 snacks. There was a time that there used to be 3 or 4 snacks. Today there are 80 snacks and total number of dishes at a average decent wedding is 200. I'm sure Prerna will be able to. I don't want to steal all her thunder away from her.
Alyada,
I'm
please,
happy.
yeah, please invite
Now
Prerna
I
ma'am.
request our second esteemed speaker, Mrs. Prerna Agrawal ma'am, to share her view on the green events. Ma'am, please.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I butted in. Like,
No, no,
I
no,
have this
absolutely right.
this bad habit, but
No,
yeah, I
no.
get too enthusiastic about this topic because I love it totally, and we've been living it for some years by now. So Ankur has covered most of it, to be frank, and he's covered it very, very well. He's divided it. But what we'll do is we will cover it with some. Hina told me that do have some pictures and some videos so people understand that how are you implying this in weddings. So I'll be specifically speaking about weddings, and sustainability in weddings is a big challenge for sure. People are not thinking of it at all. Like, ma'am, you were asking that luckily we've attracted some clients who have told that we want a sustainable wedding. Now, the biggest myth is that weddings are a large affair. How can you make a grand wedding sustainable, right? That is a challenge that everyone in our industry is facing. Like, luxury, again, is not about being very over the top. It's about the detail. It's about being process oriented, delivering on time, right? That's what I believe. And you feel the luxury. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a case study of Seep and Saurabh. Okay. Seep and Saurabh. So Seep's father is a director at Delhi Metro right now. And this family came to us and said that while we want the wedding to be very experiential, we want it to be sustainable. And they're a very kind, giving kind of family. So they were very sure that they don't want to harm the environment. They don't want to do anything. First, what went in this is that we chose ITC. Why ITC? Because ITC is anyways about responsible luxury, right? So choosing the right venue who understands that you want to make the wedding sustainable is the first and most important part of a sustainable event. Okay, so I'm going to go one by one that how did we every time got reminded that we have to make it sustainable. Okay, so the first part was ITC as a venue. What does ITC do is, like, I was so happy to see that we have glass bottles and we do not have plastic bottles here, right? So that's the first thing ITC does. ITC has all glass bottles. They do not use plastic bottles unless it's a very big gathering, and glass bottles will be a hazard to anyone's life. Okay, so they use mostly glass bottles. That's one thing they do. Also, in their general practices, I'll not go into their practices, but they are very responsible about environment and sustainability. So that was the first brand. This is ITC Grand Bharat. I'll not go into the theme and all, but I'll tell you how did we make this sustainable. So when you see the flowers are almost potted because we have not used them as few of them use, but we use potted plants, right? Potted flowers so that they can be reused the second day or the third day. So that's how we used potted flowers. The second thing we did is we did not use flex anywhere. Anywhere when we go ahead, you see there is no flex used. We use only cloth. And I know Ankur mentioned that it is though a little like more expensive, but when we print on cloth, it can be recycled and reused. You know, either the tent guys reuse it for something else, or it can be also given to the poor and needy for their, their upholstery or their making their chadars or whatever. You know, it can be reused. So that's how we try and मतलब एक simple example है जब हमारे घर में पहले bedsheet होती है, like sustainability is part of our culture, right? हमारे घर में जो bedsheet हो जाती है वो फट के पोछा बनती है, फिर फट के पर्दा बनता है, right? So it's part of our culture, right? So if it's not flex and it's cloth, we can use it in multiple ways. We try and use, this is all cloth, all printing is done on cloth. And we ideally, to be frank, wanted to employ hand embroiderers to make this backdrop. But I think by the time we came to this backdrop, we ran out of all our budgets. So we had to finally print, but we printed it on cloth. And we use a lot of thread work instead of using solid walls. Because again, thread can be reused, right? So we use a lot of thread work. You'll see a lot of thread work in our stuff. And also inculcate local handicraft culture. If you see these small items on wood, they're not printed, they're painted. So we also do is we try and use a lot of paint work on any of our artifacts. One, it is more friendly because you're not printing vinyl, eco-friendly. Second, you're giving employment to these hand painters who are dying art today. So we try and employ a lot of these hand painters, give them employment and not print. So जब तक हो सके हम print करने के लिए avoid करते हैं. But yeah, somewhere we use carpets, you know, instead of flex. So if you see, ideally people would just use, can you go to the previous slide? It's a brick effect. So, you know, ideally people would have just printed it in flex, but this is a printed carpet. So we try and use a lot of printed carpets in our weddings. So this is one more thing that helps the environment, that you're not printing. So as Ankur was mentioning that the tons flex printed, or uska kuch nahi ho sakta. It is just yeah. So, but these carpets can be reused in again and again in various weddings and events. So if you use printed carpets instead of printed flex, they are all recyclable or reusable for further use. तो हमारे यहाँ भी carpet पहले 2-3 बार तो event में लगता है, फिर उसको नीचे लगा देते हैं. You know, so there is a lot of recycling of these carpets which happen. And I also kind of speak with my vendors because we can't manage what they do with it finally. But I speak with them that do not discard it, give it to the poor and needy, you know, जिनको slums में रहते हैं, जिनको नीचे flooring चाहिए. So I also work with them, or I also educate them that, you know, you should not just discard this, use this for someone's good. So that's how we can recycle and reuse things in our weddings. You can go further. Yeah, these are just backdrops like half thread work, florals. In flowers also we try and do is not 100% like wherever you can't touch and feel on backdrops, we very intelligently mix artificial and real flowers. You know, one, of course, it becomes much more cost friendly. Second, if you know how to do it, the problem is that in our industry, people have been using only artificial flowers. When you do that, then the aesthetics don't come out. So what we do is that to fill it up, we use artificial, and on top, there is a flower, my favorite flower, which is called gypso. No, so with gypso, what happens is it gives a very real feel. So if we understand how intelligently we can incorporate artificial flowers in our weddings, right? Without making it look tacky, without making it look unreal, right? Then your clients will be okay. Though we tell our clients that we are incorporating from the sustainability point, and also that let's make this more eco-friendly, budget-friendly, all that. So, and we can do a lot more from the budget than put it into only real flowers. Yeah, just some more. Yeah, you can just go further. Yeah. So this is a stage backdrop. Again, the guitar is hand painted. What you see at the back, it could have been simply like a flex backdrop or something which was printed, right? One, we took it 3D, and second, there's all hand painted, and this is printed cloth.
So it's not actually a bus?
No.
Oh.
It's a
Okay.
it's a 3D. Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
3D.
3D thing.
Yeah, it's a 3D thing. So we made it out of wood and cloth. That's how we've made this.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can just go further. Yeah.
It's looking like a bus or a car. I thought it
Even,
was a bus. It's a matador.
It's like you have a caravan. Like it's a Mexican theme that we were doing. So it's a
Yeah.
caravan which has been remodeled and put there. So it's
Yeah.
like we've just taken repurposed. So ideally our thing started that we want to repurpose our caravan kind of thing, but we didn't get one, so we had to produce one. Even for a flex, for a vinyl, for our thing, we are not trying to use sunboards. We are using something which is totally different and also experiential. Yeah, you can go further. Huh? We've used like clear glass, clear acrylic. Ideally wanted to use glass, but as bad as sunboard. Yeah, you're right about it. So we've used cloth table covers. Can you go further? Yeah, see, this whole pagoda is made out of cloth
Wow.
and shells, right? So this is only made of printed cloth. There's no flex, nothing in here. Yeah, you can go further. Just go further, go further. Yeah, go further. Yeah, so like Ankur was talking about energy. How do we do is, now this is a firefly theme that we were doing. And here we have used only LEDs. So what we do is, we use like these small lights, and we have created a very large backdrop. One, it is very undertoned, very grand, yet maybe somebody else would have just come and used like really big lights, right? So we've used all LED lights all throughout and given that ambience, and also that feel that, okay, how can we, because LED lights versus power can. Earlier in our weddings, we used to use only power cans and very big lights. So uske vis-a-vis हमने इसमें छोटी lights use करी है, LED use करी है ताकि power consumption कम हो. That was the idea. Yeah, it is. They are not fairy lights. There's a special bulb that we had bought, and it's a firefly. Basically, people जैसे कोई जुगनू हो और वो उड़ रहे हो. You can go further, please. Can I have a clicker that I can manage it or no?
It's okay. I think it's too far and we
Okay.
are also.
So this is again a mix of artificial and real flowers. So use that again because they didn't want much real flowers everywhere except centerpieces. Yeah, you can go further. Just like how the event looked. So with small lights. Yeah, you can go. This is a Banaras theme, and yeah, you can go further. So everything, like, what we do is we also encourage sit downs. Now what happens is sajan code या sit down में क्या होता है खाने में? So how we design a food menu and we tell them that अगर आप जैसे वो कह रहे हैं 200 खाने हर जगह लगा देंगे 200 आइटम तो किसी का भी टेस्ट नहीं आता. What we tell them is if you have a 4-day event or a 2-day event with 4 events, how we educate them is to that they don't feel कि कम खाना है. हम कहते हैं कि आप एक इंडियन cuisine रखिए, इंडियन cuisine के साथ आप एक cuisine और रखिए, जैसे एक में मैक्सिकन रखिए, एक में इटालियन रखिए, एक में रखिए, तो आपका मेन्यू भी एक लिमिटेड मेन्यू होगा और लोगों को मजा भी आएगा. नहीं तो चारों दिन अगर सारे cuisines होते हैं और इतना बड़ा spread होता है तो कोई मजा नहीं आता. So we try and put this in a very nice manner that how can you have a more experiential limited menu. What you can do is do like abhi I was at Wedding Sutra, so they've done single plates, right? It's like curry, bowl curries and all that. So something which looks different, very experiential, but yet can minimize your menu. And a sit down at a Surgeon Court is also one way that, okay, we don't put a buffet. And if you have a, like, curated menu, so Surgeon Court में एक standard set menu होता है. So I encourage my people also to do like set menus so that the food wastage is lesser. You know, if there's a buffet, they express, they say कि spread होना चाहिए. पर अगर buffet नहीं है तो फिर
Close to the-
sit down में, this is one way also how we can do this. You can go further. So this was a highlight of this wedding where इसमें आप देख रहे हैं कि जनरली क्या होता है, ये carving जो है थर्मोकॉल से बनती है पूरी, but ये बनाना स्टेम से बनी है. So I've done a full video explaining this Vedi. So this Vedi was something जो इसके कारीगर हैं वो वृंदावन से आए थे और ट्रेडिशनल ढंग से इन्होंने पूरी केले के स्टेम से ये कार्विंग करी थी. Okay, yeah, can you play the video on this?
We'll have to. आशुतोष जी वीडियो है.
इसके बाद ये is embedded. It's embedded. So the idea about this Vedi came about because we wanted a very sustainable wedding. And our client said that, I have seen this material, basically केले का पत्ता है, उन्होंने कहीं देखा था. I said, what better than that to have this as part of the wedding? ये शुभ भी होता है और ये sustainable है. It's totally recyclable and it's kind of waste which comes out of the bark of the kela, of the banana, the stem of the banana, and you can make these designs. So why use thermocol when you can use this? So it's a real sustainable wedding. The fragrance of the flowers, which I can smell, is amazing. The backdrop is inspired by Shiv and Parvati. The half of the backdrop is Shiv and half is Parvati. And this design is kind of done in-house. When we put this whole thing together, the client wanted it to be like a temple, like the bride and the groom are getting married in a temple, but actually we had to recreate it here. So we could create a temple with 100% sustainability, and we've also used a lot of floral at the back. And can you see there is no carpet? This is, we used a weave, like a leaf weave as the matting. So everything is very, very, sorry to be repetitive, but it's very, very sustainable, and हमारे में बोलते हैं बहुत ही शुभ है. तो एक बहुत ही अच्छा combination है of being eco-friendly and being very, very auspicious. So this Vedi is a real blend of where you will like to get married. And I think this is one of our really good creations in a while for the Vedi. Because I think what happens whenever we're creating the Vedi is that by the time we come to the Vedi, we all are tired and we're like, okay, we sometimes let go. But I think this time it was surely no letting go, and it's come out stunning. I'm so happy. Yeah, we can go further. So just more examples of, what I've been talking about, various points of in weddings, how are we making it sustainable and using minimalism, right? So one of the other way that you can make it sustainable is use the venue to your fullest advantage. So let's see of some examples that how have we used the venue. So this is an existing fountain. We've used flora, fauna around it, right? And made this as an installation. So you can use the venue to your advantage if you are creative, if you are a little intelligent. See, this is a full mandap setup, right? This is for your Varmala. So for the Varmala, we've used the entire ITC Grand Bharat building as our backdrop, and we've integrated it in our design. So now it looks grand, but actually हमने उसमें production बहुत कम किया है. We've not done so much production, right? So you can go further. This is how it looked. This was exact Varmala ka backdrop, which was there. Yes, ITC Grand Bharat. Again, this is a venue for Korat. So we've just used the venue and we've enhanced it with flowers. Also with flowers, what we try and do is we try and use as much local flowers as we can, you know, especially for the wedding. Yeah, some more examples now. Yeah, I'll just stop here. So this is at Umaid Bhavan. Now, can you see, like we've done grander setups also, but this couple again was an NRI couple and they didn't want wastage at all. You know, they had the money to pay everything in the world, but they were very, very conscious of being sustainable. So we've used local flowers which were there. We've used the venue to our advantage, and we've just see this is Mehrangarh Fort. Can you see how minimal it is, but it looks so pretty because we've used the venue lighting to our advantage and just done the decor. So if you know how to use a venue to advantage, you can really do a sustainable wedding. Yeah, you can. That's again the venue. So in this, you just see. Now these are some LED lights with which we've done some installations. That's why I've used it here. So yeah. So again, the venue to advantage and some LED lights. This is I think Ankur was there for this event, and for this it was in middle of nowhere. We had middle of the desert, and these are sand dunes, and we use sand art to create these installations.
Oh, those
Yes,
figures, huh?
yes,
Those
yes,
two figures.
yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this was my. So, yeah, and again, if you see the e-communication,
No, I was just asking, won't those sand figures move away with the wind?
no, so it's like पूरा उसको मिट्टी करके mold करा है, ऐसा नहीं, हाँ. So, yeah, so basically, for her wedding, again, that's, we did more e-communication than cards. You know, that's one more way that जब हम print करते हैं, आजकल e-cards आ गए हैं, which are much more sustainable. We give sharbat as gift, जो कि आप पी सकते हैं. It doesn't create, you know, give. Then all these things are hand painted. Again, employing local artisans, giving employment to the local thing. For her wedding, we did not take anything from Delhi, Bombay, except our team.
Except your.
Yeah, so carbon footprint was zero because she again is really, really about sustainability. Like she's a vegan, she's really particular. So those were the bride, she was very about her wedding's been covered in various, I'll show you various features also, because everything was, again, ITC, everything was about being sustainable. So we were very, very conscious about how can we make a sustainable wedding. I didn't take her case study because
Are you showing us? All right. You know, what are this? Okay, doesn't matter.
Let's just
Exactly, ma'am. So why? That's a great point. Exactly the point. It's about
Helmet is
consciousness.
the law,
It's
nobody
not about
follows
law.
it.
It's
Wearing the
about
helmet is
if
the
we
law.